If I was to say to you the city of Joburg, what comes first into your mind? For a lot of people, I think the city of Johannesburg represents incompetence, poor infrastructure, filthiness in the city, poor service delivery, crime, issues with schools, health, you name them, all of those things. But this city, under the leadership of the African National Congress, the ANC, one of their priorities is to rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled. Some of you guys who might not be familiar with Leila Khaled, she's a Palestinian freedom fighter. But by some in the West, particularly America, she is regarded as a terrorist. I think she came into prominence in 1969 when she's been given the honor of being the first woman to hijack a plane. The plane that was flying from Italy, Rome, apparently it was flying to Tel Aviv in Israel, and then it ended up somewhere in Damascus and all of that. Unfortunately, nobody died in that hijack, even though the plane was blown. I think the cockpit or something like that. But nonetheless, this woman by the West, she's regarded as a terrorist and all of that. And I understand why South Africans, they will feel affinity towards the people of Palestine, the way they're being treated by the state of Israel. And South Africa has done quite a bit in terms of showing support to the people of Palestine because they're living under the oppression of the Israeli government and things like that. But nonetheless, the issue here for me is not to be discussing the issue of Palestine and Israel and all of that. That's a topic for another day. But just in terms of what is the incentive for the city of Joburg renaming Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled? And I do not see any incentive in that. Yes, it will be symbolical in terms of showing support for the people of Palestine. But I think we can do more to show support for the people of Palestine than by just to renaming streets with somebody like Leila Khaled and all of that. And she's probably justified in terms of saying that I'm fighting for the freedom of my own people because we're being oppressed. South Africa can relate to that. But I think with the problems that we have in South Africa, particularly in the city of Joburg, President Cyril Ramaphosa, about a couple of weeks ago, he was in the city of Johannesburg. Johannesburg is going to be hosting the G20 summit. And he was talking about the state of the city, the way it is, how filthy it is, properties, disappointing in a way that the infrastructure is not being taken care of and all of those type of things. And I think those are some of the things that we need to be prioritizing as the city of Johannesburg, especially the poor service that people are experiencing in that particular city, not having water other times, electricity, and all these type of things. And again, the issues that South Africa is having with the United States of America now, South Africa is in the cross eyes of Donald Trump and United States of America. In fact, some prominent people in the Trump administration, they've already said that if South Africa was to rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled, what will happen is that because the embassy is on the streets, they will close that consulate in South Africa. And I cannot imagine the implications of that. But I don't think South Africa should stop renaming Sandton Drive because of the pressure that is coming from America. But I think they should not rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled, particularly because we got different priorities at this point in time. Johannesburg is in need of quite a bit. The exercise of renaming streets, those are just symbolical things. And it shows how out of touch this government is in terms of doing these things. It reminds me of a couple of years ago, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Minister Nathi Mthethwa. He wanted to spend 22 million on putting up a flag. While there's people in South Africa who are starving, people who are looking for jobs, people who do not have opportunities, like a whole lot of things, health problems and all those stuff. This man his priority was to spend 22 million to put up a flag, for national cohesion, whatever that is. And that's what the city of Johannesburg is doing now. They're going to be spending money to rename this. And also just to be controversial. We don't need that controversy. Ibrahim Rasool has already done that for us, And while the people of the city are under so much pressure in terms of what's happening in the city. It doesn't look like the city of Johannesburg can be turned around, can be turned into one of the best cities in the world, if not in Africa for that matter. And these people are hell-bent on just between the ANC and the EFF supporting this thing of renaming Leila Khaled. They could do something for Leila Khaled if they want to honor her. They could do something for the Palestinian people. I don't think this is a priority at this point in time, whereby our economy is not growing, whereby crime is rife, whereby children are struggling for school. You name it. South Africa's got so many problems, you know, and people are thinking about renaming a street and all that. So that's the kind of leadership that we have in South Africa at the moment. They're playing politics. They're playing symbolic politics. And doing things that will not be meaningful to the people. So if they were to rename this street tomorrow, you and I, it wouldn't make much difference in our lives. In terms of why they renamed that street to Leila Khaled, not to take away from her beliefs, what she was fighting for, and all those type of things, and not to accede to the pressure of the West, particularly Americans say, do not rename this street to Leila Khaled and all those type of things, excuse me, you know. But all in all, even if it was to be renamed after a saint, for that matter, I don't know, Pope or something like that, it will not mean anything to all of us, considering where we live in, the type of condition that South Africans are living in. So please let me know what you think in the comments, and then if you please be so kind and subscribe and like the video. We appreciate all those of you guys who've been supporting us to grow this channel. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I'm out of order, if you think I'm wrong, if you agree, if you disagree, especially if you disagree, please let me know. Hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.